I'm going to talk about the Oriental Flute. This is a copy of the Japanese flute, the Shakuhachi, not Shakatumi, Shakuhachi. It was originally made with a root, and I've heard back in the 7th century. I heard also that at some point some monks who were traveling with expensive parchments would carry the Shakuhachi flute with the root, and they would use the flute for self-defense to protect their parchments if they got hit by bandits. So at some point in the history, when supposedly it was forbidden later on in the 19th century for samurais to carry swords, they too began to carry the flute with the root for self-defense. If someone walked up to them, "You killed my cousin Toyota," well then, you know, they had this whole deal. But last summer doing a show, I saw a beautiful flute bag. Inside the flute bag, I inquired, and was a most delightful shakuhachi with a beautiful root, and the gentleman put it together. It was painted on the inside, and he played it better than a tape that I've owned of shakuhachi music. I marveled at the beautiful sound, and I asked the guy, "How much did you spend for your bamboo flute?" He said, $700. This one's only $20. This one sounds like this. It's a pentatonic scale. Pentatonic meaning 5, also known as give me 5. You have 4 and the thumb hole in the back. So here's how you hold it. Even the masters will skip this finger. Why? Because it's a very big stretch and it's very uncomfortable. So bring this guy back and put this guy down here, and then you are able to do this or skip this and do this. I personally enjoy the feeling I get with these two, but again, you can skip this guy and as if you're holding the flute here. Okay, that's fingering. If you keep the bottom hole up, opened, it'll sound bad. Close them up, and then the air quivers through the whole tunnel, the whole chamber. Like the minor flute, which is melodic, this scale is a melodic scale in the sense that by going up and down the scale, it'll always sound good. One of the tricks to making this flute come alive is to allow the breath to be so gently precise that it just in the breathing of it, you'll be able to capture the essence of this flute. There's a gentle dipping that can be done, and I'll try to exaggerate it so you can see as my head bows. There's a lot of between blowing to getting the sound a little airier by maybe not making such a grin but more of a hole. And then jumping quickly up to the octave. But basically the concept, again, like the minors, just go up and down the scale. If you want to play with the concept of getting something other than Oriental, if you hum, it's Jethro Tullish. And it also kind of sounds like that Kiowa love flute. So the Oriental flute can be played. It's usually traditionally done end blown, And I'll talk to you about that in just a second. This is side blown, pressing and rolling. And playing this or the Kiowa love flute in places, or any flute actually, in places of nice acoustics is just delightful. Here we have the same flute, except now we're looking at blowing a little bit different, like a long extended bird flute. This is end blown, and here's a concept. Don't go to the flute, pushing the flute away from you. Have the flute come to you, grasshopper. To save you 20 years on meditating on what I mean, because we don't have that kind of time anymore. Jesus is coming soon. What you want to do is lift, lift, and tilt. So don't go to the flute. You pushing the flute, finger it, skip this guy, squeeze so you get that ring around the collar, squeeze, lift, gently, just, it's all done gently, but there's a firmness within that relaxation. Lift and tilt. The easiest thing you might want to work on for a little while is just to do it up here. Again, spitting out watermelon seeds. Lift, tilt, and find it. Sneak down, and then you've got it, and go. I would imagine, and it seems to me that you can get more of that breathy Karate Kid 2 sound with the end blown than the side. It is harder, but once you get the balance of it, the traditional shakuhachi is sort of done with a straight cross, much harder, even hard for me. So what I'm doing in making these guys is I'll take a hot iron and I'll burn this like this, and then I'll go in and upwards, and that's creating pretty much the Andean, the South American way of playing.